We are live.
Thank you. We'll start the regular board meeting. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the meeting will be held by Zoom video conference for participants. Viewers will be able to watch the meeting live on YouTube. The YouTube channel is the North Little Rock School District Board Meetings. And Rhonda, I asked a minute ago if we had any public comments, and
No, ma'am, we do not.
Okay, all right. Well, then I will call this meeting to order. And Ms. West, will you please read the vision statement and mission statement?
Sure. The vision statement is world-class students for world-class schools for world-class students. And the mission statement, the North Little Rock School District and the community will provide for achievement, accountability, acceptance, and the necessary assets in pursuit of each student's educational success.
Thank you.
No problem.
Rhonda, would you please call the roll?
Mrs. Temple,
Here.
Dr. Redis,
Here.
Mrs. Wonkum,
Here.
Mr. Zakreski,
Here.
Ms. Person West,
Here.
Ms. Dorothy Williams,
Here.
Mr. Steele,
Okay. Thank you, Rhonda. Now we're to the point where we do recognitions. Did you want to take this, Dr. McGee, and go from here? Or?
Yes, Mayor, I'll take it from here. Thank you, Madam President, members of the board, and to all of our executive team and our honorees. I'm going to turn this over to Mr. Dustin Barnes, who's our communication coordinator. He's going to come and do recognition. Mr. Barnes.
And thank you and good evening to everyone. We have a number of recognitions for tonight, and it just goes to show the hardworking and dedicated people in our district, and their hard work has been recognized by their peers. So I'm going to get started here. Ms. Carolyn Love was nominated to receive the Superintendent's Honor Roll from Laura Jennings, who is our Director of Child Nutrition. Ms. Jennings writes, Carolyn Love has worked for the Child Nutrition Department for 42 years. Actually, she is has the second most seniority of anyone in the district. Ms. Love has dedicated her life to the profession of child nutrition. She is aware that a hungry child cannot learn. Therefore, it has always been her mission to provide nutritious meals to our students. Ms. Love always gives 100% and is one of the most loyal and dependable employees in the Child Nutrition Department. In her 42 years of service, she has rarely missed a day of work, even during the time she received treatment for cancer. She's a true asset to the school district and is loved by both students and staff. Ms. Carolyn Love, and I believe you're at Amboy, right?
Yes.
Okay, Amboy, okay. Congratulations to you.
Thank you.
You have anything you want to say?
It's been a good 42 years, and I'll miss my kids when I retire in May.
Okay.
And I bet they'll miss you too.
I'll miss them.
You are a staple. We thank you for, and we'll have something for you here in the coming days.
Okay,
So
thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next person is Miss Crystal Green, who's our night custodian here at the administration building. And she was nominated by Dr. Keith McGee, who's our assistant superintendent. He writes the following: hard work spotlights the character of a person. Some roll up their sleeves, some roll up their noses, and some don't roll at all. North Little Rock School District has been blessed with the service of Miss Crystal Green. Since joining the North Little Rock School District family, the administration building is going through a tremendous transformation. The pride that she takes in completing her tasks is evident by cleanliness of the administration building. Ms. Green, thank you for rolling up your sleeves. Thank you for helping to minimize the chaos of COVID cleaning. And thank you for working hard, being a team player, and even working with a big smile on your face every day. Thank you, Ms. Green. Is Ms. Green on? She may be cleaning, hard at work cleaning, and she does a great job. I can attest to that. So we'll have something for her as well. Our next person is Mr. Marvin Keith Price. He was nominated to receive the Superintendent's Honor Roll by Maria Touchstone, who is our ESL coordinator. She writes, I am housed in the annex and many nights I work late. I know that you understand that sometimes it is a little daunting to leave the annex after dark. Several nights, only cars out back are mine and the car belonging to Mr. Brian Staggers. A couple of nights, my car has been the only one out there. It was dark, cold, and although I could have been in danger leaving the building late, I was not in danger. I am writing to nominate Mr. Keith, our night custodian at the annex, for the superintendent's honor roll. Mr. Keith always stops what he is doing and makes sure that he escorts us to the landing where he watches to make sure we get in our cars and head home to our families. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate that, and I am not alone. He does that for everyone in the building that is leaving alone, especially at dark. I could go on and on about his work ethic and the wonderful job that he does in the area as well. He is kind, professional, and always willing to go above and beyond for anyone. He is the kindest man I've ever met, and he understands that everyone is a mom or a granny to someone. At the end of the day, when it would be easy to forget about being kind and taking care of others the way you want to be treated, he reminds us of the very best in people. I appreciate him so much, and I just thought you would want to recognize him for his practice of giving every single day that he is here. He is truly one of a kind. Mr. Marvin Keith Price, congratulations to you. And he is on here. Mr. Price, do you have anything you'd like to say?
I just appreciate everybody, and I work for one of the greatest school districts in the world.
Thank you. We're glad to have you on our team. Thank you so much for what you do for the district.
Thank you.
And the next honorees they all come from the transportation department, and they were nominated by Scott Tyler, who is the transportation director. He writes, Linda Gale Jenkins has been employed at the North Little Rock School District for 33 years. She has served as a lunch assistant, a bus driver, and currently as the dispatcher for the transportation department. Ms. Gale is a vital member of the transportation team, and her years of knowledge and wisdom contribute greatly to the smooth operation of transporting thousands of students daily. When asked what she enjoys most about her job, she says the people she works with, assessing and conquering issues that may arise daily, and assisting to get scholars transported safely and timely to and from school. Charles Chuck Brown has been employed at the North Little Rock School District for 11 years. He served as a night inspector and currently as a bus mechanic. The thing that Chuck enjoys most about his job is learning innovative ways to enhance our job performance and teaching other mechanics some of the techniques he has learned. Chuck is an asset to the transportation department because he stays abreast of the cutting edge technology that can be used to provide efficient service to our fleet of buses and district vehicles. He works hand in hand with our administrative assistant to ensure vendor accountability and fiscal responsibility for the shop. Next is Bonique Hopes, has been employed with the North Little Rock School District for 6 years and is a bus aide. Hopes is a team player who greets her students with a big smile and positive attitude. She strives daily to assist her driver to meet the needs of her students so that they can safely be transported to and from school. Bonique's passion for youth drives her to come to work every day and give our department her very best service. And Kiara Harris, she's been employed with the district for 3 years as a bus driver. Kiara has a quiet and calm persona and is very passionate about her bus students. She enjoys the students assigned to her bus and looks forward to engaging with them each and every day. Kiara's willingness to assist wherever is needed and her professionalism are just a few reasons she is such an amazing benefit to our department. So let's salute Linda Gale Jenkins, Charles Chuck Brown, Bonique Hopes, and Kiara Harris. They are all from the transportation department. Are any of them on? Would you like to say something?
I see some faces. Nobody wants to say anything?
Ms. Harris here. Ms. Harris, would you like to say something, or am I putting you on the spot? You can get me later.
It's fine. I just wanted to say thank you.
Okay. Thank you. And thank you for being part of our team. We're glad to have you.
Yes, sir.
I just wanted to say thank you as well.
Thank you. Thank you for being on our team.
All right.
I would also like to say thank you as well. I'm currently driving, but thank y'all as well. Sorry, Chuck.
That's okay. Thank you. Yes, thank you for being recognized. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you all for your work and your dedication to the transportation department, to the district as a whole. Those are all of the recognitions on my part.
Good to see all your faces. Thank you so much. It feels good to see so many people being recognized for such great work. Thank you, guys.
And I echo those sentiments as well. Again, thank you to all of our honorees. You all are deserving of those awards. Madam President, we're going to transition to item 4.2. This is the Parent North Star. Miss Crystal Barker is going to come and she's going to take this helm. Miss Barker, please.
Thank you, Dr. McGee, to board president and board members and North Little Rock School District staff and community. This month's Parent North Star honoree is no stranger to the North Little Rock School District nor the city of North Little Rock. He was nominated by several individuals, Ms. Walker, Mr. Kane, and Brandy Amberg. If he sees a need, he jumps at the opportunity to assist. He has served as a PTA member for Crestwood in our middle school 7th grade campus, and he serves on the district parent engagement committee. He wanted to find a way for Dash to get more engaged and more involved, so he started the well-known Dodgeball for Dash program. Meeting that acronym, STAR, supporting teachers achieving results, our honoree spearheaded the project of renovating the Family and Consumer Science room by painting and cleaning and just making it so much beautiful for our teachers and our students. During our recent snowstorm, our honoree picked up KJ Kite every day to ensure that and feed and secure warmth for our feather and four-leg friends at the farm. During the floods of 2019, our honoree helped the Dixie and Dark Hollow communities by organizing a team to fill sandbags while assisting city officials. When I joined the team, I asked him, would you remain a part of the Family Engagement Committee? He said, yes, ma'am. I'm here as long as my son is here. Our honoree's dedication and love for the North Little Rock School District and North Little Rock community shines through him daily. He works at his family business. He has a beautiful wife named Jennifer and an awesome son named Josh, who is a student at the middle school at our 7th, 8th grade campus. Dr. Paluski, in his absence, Dr. McGee, North Little Rock School District staff, board, North Little Rock community, help me honor our March 2021 Parent North Star, Mr. Chris Keeling. He said he was going to join us. Is Chris, are you on, Mr. Keeling? Okay, he had a birthday party also, so he may not have been able to get on, but I think Mr. Kane is here, the principal. We'll let him accept this honor and this award in honor of Mr. Chris Keeling.
Thank you, Ms. Barker. I definitely will get it to him. He is a blessing to us, and he's definitely a blessing to our district.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Barker and Mr. Kane, and certainly I echo that as well. Mr. Keeley has been a wonderful asset to our district and to the parents and support. Madam President, that is all for our recognition. So I will turn it back over to you.
Okay, so we are to the board member and superintendent involvement. And so do we have anything that board members want to share with the community about our involvement? Anybody want to speak up on anything?
I did take to Boone Park a little over 50 plus books. They are K through 2nd reading level to pass out to give to my babies over there. And so I hope that they enjoyed the books.
Thank you. I bet they did enjoy that.
I had the opportunity to visit Amboy with Dr. Paluski and took a box of, I think it was 100 or 200 disposable facial masks. And of course, I came bearing gifts for the vice principal and the principal. Always my gifts.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay. And Dr. McGee, do you have something you want to share with your involvement?
Yeah, let me acknowledge Dr. Paluski in his absence. He did ask me to share my involvement with the community. One of the biggest things, board members and community, I am very proud of. I'm honored to serve on this committee for the North Little Rock Chamber of Commerce, the Educational Committee. It's what we call the APPS program. The APP stands for Advancement, Leadership, Personal Growth, and Service. I am so proud of North Little Rock High School students. We have approximately 42 students who are participating in this program, who are coming together to work together and to serve our city, the community in the city of North Little Rock. Please, I am just so honored to serve as a mentor this year for this group of students. They are doing marvelous things. They are working in supporting, again, the city of North Little Rock in various community service projects. So that is one of the biggest community involvement that I had, and I continue to work in as assistant superintendent. So thank you, Madam President.
Awesome.
Actually, I had one thing I just wanted to announce. I had mentioned last month that the Wildcat Foundation, there was a change coming to the to our annual golf tournament, and we came out officially, and we have renamed our annual golf tournament the Becky Witcher Memorial Scramble. For those of you who don't know her, Becky Witcher was a teacher in the North Little Rock School District and a longtime board member of the Wildcat Foundation. And so she passed away late last year. And we already miss her on the board, but we have named the tournament in her honor with her husband Murray and her family's approval, and we look forward to having that. That's on May 14th. That's a big fundraiser for the Wildcat Foundation, so I hope to see you guys there.
Very nice.
And Madam President, I guess we're going to transition to the CPPC and the LPPC monthly report, items number 6.1. I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Jacob Smith, our Executive Director for Human Resources, who will come and share those reports. Mr. Smith.
Thank you, Dr. McGee, and members of the board, Madam President. I appreciate you guys having me here this evening. We do not have a representative from CPPC here tonight, but we do have Miss Carolyn Jackson from LPPC to kind of give the board an overview about what we've been doing within that entity. And I'm going to turn it over to her.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Thank you, Dr. McGee, Madam President, and the board for having us here. The LPPC has had quite a busy year with COVID and everything else that we're trying to deal with. And so we've been busy, but not passing a lot of policy. And so I wanted to let you know some things that we had gotten done, some major accomplishments that we feel we have made this year, being involved in and being the voice of the teachers as our district built COVID plans and COVID policies. We have worked jointly with CPPC and HR to create the district calendar for next year, building that out based on staff survey. We've met with Dr. Paluski, opening up lines of communication, identifying common goals, and the expectations for our PPC and administrative relationships. We've established communication and a working relationship with Dr. White and Ms. Smith, the heads of secondary and elementary curriculum, to begin improving communication with teachers throughout the district. We wanted to give you an update on what policies we have in mind. We have 2 policies that are in the draft stage. We have one for bereavement and one for parental leave that we are working on, and we are gathering data and beginning to formulate a policy that would be presented to the board potentially by the first of next year. Then we also have some upcoming policy that are in the discussion stage. We're looking at a review and update of the BCC policies, a review and update of the tuition reimbursement policy, possibly creating a new teacher or adult bullying policy, and a new telework policy. And a few topics that have come up that we have brought up the topic and we are discussing before further action is looking into the LPPC formation policy that would review and update it to include annual training for the PPCs, building level representation on the LPPC, and establishing bylaws. And we are going to discuss establishing a scheduled review and update of all existing policies. So we've been fairly busy, as you can see. And so that's the update as of now for LPPC. Thank you.
Thank you for that update. And y'all do sound very busy. You have a full load moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
And thank you both committees for the wonderful report from Ms. Jackson. And I know that Mr. Smith has been working with a meeting with CPPC as well. So thank you for that. Madam President, if we may, can we transition to the informational items?
Yes, sir.
Madam President and the members of the board, we're going to go into our informational items beginning at 7.1. This is the 2021-2022 course catalog. Dr. White is going to come now and make the presentation to the board. Dr. White.
Thank you. Good evening, Madam President, board members, and Dr. McGee. So the purpose of this presentation is to share a little bit of information regarding the new courses for the 2021-22 school year and to seek approval for those specific courses. I want you to know that the determining factors in establishing these new courses are largely based on the principal's evaluation of current courses, also the changes mandated by the state, feedback from teachers and students, as well as student needs. And I think what you'll find tonight in these courses that they're really chunked into three major categories, and that's intensive support for students, work-based learning, and also acceleration. All the requests that you'll hear have been reviewed by me, Dr. McGee, and Dr. Paluski. So they've been given that preliminary approval at this time. The principals are here this evening to share information regarding the new courses that they're seeking the board's approval for. And upon approval, we will share the new course guides with the community, staff, and families. Also, I will be linking in those new course guides in the weekly board update this week. So I am going to now turn it over to Mr. Clark, followed by Mr. Kane, Ms. Wisnat, and Mr. Jennings. Mr. Clark.
Thank you, Dr. White. Good evening, Madam President, board members, and Dr. McGee. We have one change that we are presenting tonight, which is dropping our course called Cultural Studies and replacing it with a class called Study Skills. It will be a 9 weeks course, and it is the fourth cog in our wheel that we have that connects with physical education, art, and music. The course is designed to help students learn skills that will enhance their social and emotional learning, as well as interpersonal skills and academic skills. We feel that coming into the sixth grade that is very, very important before they move higher up into their secondary education area. So at this time, if there's any questions, I'll be glad to answer those.
Madam President, if I can interject, if we can just hold the questions until all the principals finish, and then we can come back and address those questions then if we can.
Okay.
Mr. Kane.
Thank you, Dr. White. Greetings, Madam President, board members, and Dr. McGee. Changes for North Little Rock Middle School 7th and 8th grade campus. We're looking at including Spanish 1. Grade served for this will be for 8th grade. Length of the course will be 1 year. And the goal of this course is designed to improve reading, writing, speaking, and listening abilities in Spanish. The grade in this course will count towards the student's high school grade point average.
Thank you, Ms. Wisnat.
Good evening, board, Madam President, and Dr. McGee and Dr. White. The COEs like to bring back AP Government and Politics. It will serve as their civics requirement. We are also looking at getting rid of JAG based on some input from our JAG teacher and our counselor, and replacing JAG with career readiness semester bumped up with work-ready semester, and then have that with the CTE internship. We're also looking at adding a gifted and talented seminar to the 10th grade level to bump up with the freshman seminar that is all freshmen are required to take at the COE, and that is paired up with their intro to COE. It is a course that's going to finish up with the freshman seminar requirements of a lot of social emotional learning and work skills, as well as prepping them for their AP and upper advanced classes. And we're also looking at, we have not had a reading teacher in the Center of Excellence, and we are looking at adding our critical reading classes for those students that are needing it. And for the kids that need it, we are going to bump up the Algebra 1 class with a critical Algebra 1 support class for the kids that may need it based on their ACT Aspire from the 8th grade. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Jennings?
Thank you, Dr. White. Good evening, President Temple, board members, and Dr. McGee. We only have 4 new courses that we are proposing tonight. The first one is Introduction to Visual Arts, and this will be a concurrent credit offering for college credit. We do have a teacher on campus that meets the qualifications to teach this, and this will put us at 24 possible college hours that a high school student can achieve during their 4-year term with us. The second course is a replacement for Bridge to Algebra 2. We're actually dropping that and adding technical math for college and career. The third class is called Advanced Fashion and Interior Design. This is the third and final course in our clothing and housing program of study in the FACS department. So it's just an added class to the end of a particular program of study. And the fourth one, we would like to add Jobs for Arkansas graduates, JAG. We've had this in the past for only 11th and 12th graders. We're proposing that this be a 9 through 12 program without the 9th and 10th would be without the work lab option, and the 11th and 12th would include a work lab option. It's just part of this is part of our dropout prevention efforts to get kids more acclimated to the workplace, really starting at a younger age in the 9th grade. So that's all we have. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Jennings. So as I said before, I am going to link those course guides in the weekly board update for you all. As far as personnel needs, you did hear Ms. Wisnat mention that she will be needing some reading teachers, and actually almost all the principals have requested reading teachers through the budget review process that they did take on last week. So we will be revisiting that. As far as costs to courses, they are looking at those costs right now with their leadership teams and determining their needs. We are looking at taking all of the instructional resources that they need out of ESSERs, so that will, of course, not be any major cost to the district taken out of those ESSER funds. So at this time, that's all we have, and we are so happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Dr. White?
Yes.
I want to ask, now these courses that they're requesting, this is simply an addendum to what we already have. And
absolutely,
so
yes.
Asking us to vote on this tonight? Okay. And
so you're absolutely right. It's just simply an addendum. You all will have the comprehensive course guides linked into the weekly board update. So you will see the listing of all the courses that they offer on each campus. Absolutely.
Okay. And so these will just be in there. Okay. Thank you.
And another thing, just a note, when you get those course guides on page 2 of every course guide, it will have additions, deletions, substitutions, justifications for those. But as far as board approval, we have to get your approval on new courses. And that's why we're here tonight presenting this. But you all will have access to all of the courses that they have on their campuses this week. I will share that with you all.
And Madam President and board members, we're going to bring this back to the special board meeting on April the 1st, just for you to vote at that time.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Ms. Wonkum, do you have a question? No? Okay. I cannot hear you. It looked like you were speaking. Can anyone hear Ms. Wonkum? Sorry, we cannot hear you.
Yeah.
I have a question. I've heard this a couple times tonight talking about social and emotional learning, and I know what social is and emotional, but I'm just kind of wondering, what does that look like in the classroom? Can you translate that to me into action, what that looks like in the classroom? Is it like teaching manners? And I mean, I'm not sure exactly what that means when.
Yes,
Well, if I can I
Go ahead.
we've incorporated a social emotional learning part in our mentoring period, as well as our flex and our freshman seminar class. It's more of it involves coping skills. It involves recognizing a little self-efficacy and self-advocacy from the students, and being able to express themselves in a way that is positive for them and the people around them. That is a small part of it. It's more expansive than that, but I hope that answers your question.
Okay, well, that's helpful. Yes. Thank you. Anybody else?
Mr. Kane, would you like to expand on
I
that?
have a question. Mr. Jennings, is this advanced fashion and interior design, is that something new that's coming on? I think it's a great idea, but it's something new in our curriculum?
It is new. It does follow it's the third course in the closing and housing program of study. And that program of study is just one of a few in the Family and Consumer Sciences program. They're just adding a third course to that. And so the kids who have taken the first two will take this third course and they will become a completer in the program of study. We've just never offered it. We're on the third year of that. So it's technically an add to our course book.
Okay, thank you.
Dr. White, would you still like me to continue to piggyback on what Ms. Wisnat mentioned on the social emotional learning?
That would be great.
Madam President, just to kind of, again, just piggybacking on what Ms. Wisnat told you, because again, it's pretty much incorporating everything that we're doing on the middle school campus. We also use a platform called Naviance. Naviance is used for us several folds, but the social emotional learning aspect, it actually takes the students through lessons that dive into specific things that they might encounter, including bullying, to poverty, to empathy, things of that nature, to continue to help them develop in that particular way. Because we know as we deal with our students, they struggle with those types of things in class, and even to conflict resolution. Those things are covered in that particular platform. And we do that through our advisory at the North Little Rock Middle School 7th and 8th grade campus.
Thank you. I appreciate that information. Is there any other questions? Okay, well, I'm sure we look forward to seeing it in our update.
And thank you, Madam President. If we can move on to summer programming, which is item number 7.2. If we can permit that we can go forward there.
Yes.
This is going to be our summer program and summer learning program. We're going to come and present this. I want us to be mindful that we are still in, although we have the logistics worked out, we still got to work out the financial piece. On the April 1st board workshop, we'll be bringing to you the standard rate of pay so that we can finalize our budget. So with that, I'm going to share my screen. Ms. Lori Smith, Executive Director for Elementary. Dr. Sharita White, Executive Director for Secondary Education, and Ms. Leanne Alexander, Executive Director for Special Services. In Ms. Lori Smith's absence, I am going to present for her, and we will come here just to kind of present our plan for the summer, and then we'll take it from there. The goals here for the summer learning is to provide students with a range of opportunities in order to maximize their academic success, but also provide students with target interventions and in order to mitigate the learning loss and provide students with social, emotional learning and a wraparound support that's necessary for it to increase the student learning and the summer engagement. So the elementary have created a theme. They call it Luau for Learning. Right here, you see the timeline and the dates. All of our summer learning this summer is going to be approximately 20 days with extended day around approximately 80 hours of instruction time here. So you can see the dates here. You get a similar schedule right here, an example of this proposed timeline daily schedule. And then here we have to look at the attendance. Some of the attendance for some students will be mandatory and required, but we will open it up for all of our students. But we are going to address those kids who definitely have that learning loss that we need to try to recover that. And we're going to follow our attendance policy here. Our goal is try to get them on to show growth and keep them going in their learning. But we also know that just in case we have to retain any students, we want to continue to make sure we follow our policy. Some of the criteria, again, for elementary will be required based off the fall RIT score of the NWEA in reading, and also the chronic absenteeism that we're trying to look at as well. For we all know if the kids are not in school, then they are not engaged and not learning. So the elementary is looking at contacting parents by letter and phone calls about the required mandatory attendance for summer learning and the explanation of the program and why their child is required to attend. And also students who do not meet the requirement, we're going to look at, again, open up to all of K-12. This is the whole K-12 thing. We want to make sure we open up to all of our students. But those students who do not have, does not meet the requirement, we're going to make sure they participate virtually in the lexic core in the reading or by the Zern Math, which is a virtual teacher will be in on campus to go forward. The proposed enrollment by the school is going to be a total of 1,649 students right now that we are targeting. It could be more and it could be less. It just depends. But again, we're going to put the emphasis on those kids who need to attend based off the data and the scores that the executive directors are collecting. And then the proposed expenses. Again, these are proposed because we have to finalize our standard rate of pay. I want us all to be mindful. There are some concerns about the staff. So we're looking at trying to do a specialized rate just for this summer, just to be able to up the rate of pay so that we can get the best of the best teachers and have enough staff to address the kids' needs. So we have the funding through the ESSER funding that we have. We can work and use that funding for the summer learning loss. So for the elementary, right now with the administrators, the teachers, the dyslexia, campus supervisors, secretaries, nurses, bus drivers, transportation, and the resources, the estimated proposed total cost right now is $768,000. So you see that number here. We will entertain questions, Madam President and members of the board, after we finish. We know that we kind of gave you just a brief summary. So we just wanted to come and put this on your radar. So at this time, I'm going to turn it over to Dr. White. She's going to come and talk about the secondary.
Good evening again. So secondary is excited and charging ahead with summer learning. So as you see here, we're looking at the proposed dates of June 7th through July 12th, and that's about 20 instructional days and about 80 to 90 hours of instructional time. So for the 6th grade campus and the 7th and 8th grade campus, we're looking at 8 to 1. And then for Center of Excellence in high school, we're looking at 8:30 to 1:30. And then of course, the academy will have slightly different hours to accommodate those students. And so they will have an after hours portion and it will take place from 4 until 9. So just a little quick overview. We're looking at, as I said before, 5 weeks, 5 hours per day, 5 locations, also virtual and on-site options. Of course, we will have mandatory and general enrollment criteria, and that goes back to what Dr. McGee said, because we want everybody to attend our summer learning program. Also, of course, breakfast and lunch will be provided, transportation will be provided, and most importantly, no cost to families. So we're looking at establishing an online registration just for the convenience for our families. And so we're working with Mr. Stone. He's crafting something for us, but we certainly will have an online registration for families. Also, we're looking at some virtual orientation sessions for families. As you probably read in the presentation, we're looking at daily enrichment activities for students. Also, every student will have a mentor. Also, we're looking at incentives for students as far as engagement and completion is concerned, and then of course, personalized learning for all. All right, so the enrollment criteria. So we're looking at general enrollment, and that's based upon course completion, which means based upon your grades. That means you do not need to recover a course or credit. Then we're looking at mandatory enrollment, and that's by invitation only. And those invitations will be sent out by the principal and the counselors. And that's going to be based upon that the promotion and retention policy. And that policy states that they have to pass 2 of 4 core. And if they do not pass math or English, they have to come to summer school. So we're looking at, of course, supporting that policy along with looking at the NWEA Lexile levels, that's the reading levels, and then of course those RIT bands to see who's on level and who's not. So for middle school, and this is just the whole gamut of what we're looking at offering. So it is school specific, and each school has their own comprehensive summer learning plans that I will share with you all. But just generally, we're looking at, of course, virtual and on-site options. We're looking at course recovery, reading support, accelerated studies in reading, and then also we're looking at an enrichment block. And of course, you see there, it's 1 week for each one of those topics listed. Also, we're looking at arts and crafts. We're looking at critical thinking activities, also sports and recreation, dance, and STEM activities for the middle schoolers. And then for high school students, of course, credit recovery, also reading support, accelerated studies, ACT test prep, Algebra 1 prep for rising 9th graders. And we're really excited about that because we really want to get those rising 9th graders on campus and kind of get them oriented before they actually start at the high school. So we've got that planned. And then also principals are exploring this notion of allowing rising 9th graders to go ahead and get their PE and health credits. Now for everything that I've listed here tonight, we are looking at, if it's virtual, asynchronous and synchronous opportunities. So it won't just be students sitting in front of the computer. They will have a teacher supporting them and checking in with them and actually having live lessons as well. So for the high school enrichment opportunities, we're looking at some meditation offerings, also physical education activities, kickboxing, yoga, badminton, dance, brain teasers, arts and crafts. All right, so far, we've got about 952 students who we think might be invited into our summer learning program. Of course, those numbers might change as we advance and progress throughout the year, and we see how students are doing by the end of the year. But 952 is our target number right now, and I do have that breakdown by school. If you're interested, I can put that in the weekly board update for you. And then, of course, the budget. As you see here, our grand total is $630,000 roundabout. So the resources, I'd like to draw your attention to the resources. We've been using Apex, and we're going to continue to use Apex, but also one of the campus would like to go ahead and phase in Edgenuity. So that's why that cost is in there. And that cost there is really for us to all go ahead and start implementing Edgenuity if that's approved. The other thing is Edulastic. What we know is that we need to offer a pre and post test to our students, and then we also need to progress monitor them as well. So Edulastic will just help us to formulate those formative assessments for our students. And of course, you see the rest of the items there. So grand total, a little over $630,000.
Thank you. And Ms. Alexander is going to come for the extended school year services.
Good evening, President Temple, members of the board, Dr. McGee, and fellow executive team members. First, before I go into my presentation, I wanted to let you guys know that special ed is also going to be supporting Dr. White's and Ms. Smith's programs with resource teachers. So there are special ed services being offered in those summer school programs. This program that I'm going to speak to you about tonight is something we're required to do by law under IDEA. And we've offered it every year for as long as I've been in this district, for 30 years. And it's really for our more severe students. They have to meet regression recoupment data, and it's just to ensure that they don't digress on their IEP goals. So this is going to be in addition to the supports we provide to the other two summer school programs. So tonight, I'm just going to tell you the definition of what extended school year services are and how they're outlined in IDEA. I'm going to tell you where the location is, the duration and time for the ESY summer program, and then the proposed budget. And while I'm talking about the budget, I want you to know that mine is funded through the special education budget. It doesn't come out of those ESSER funds. So extended school year services are special education and related services that are provided to a child with a disability beyond the normal school year. They must be in accordance with the child's IEP and at no cost to parents of a child with a disability. And when I talk about those related services, that's speech, occupational therapy, and physical therapy. Our program is going to be at North Little Rock High School in the bottom of Tower D, and that's where all of our self-contained classrooms are. It's the same dates as the high school summer school program because we want to run it concurrently. And Mr. Jennings every year has been so gracious to allow us to have it there. It's been there the last 5 years. It's Monday through Thursday, and it's only half days. Students come from 8 to 11:30, and staff is from 7:30 to noon. And our budget is a little bit smaller because the number of students that qualify for this program it's very specific criteria. But we have 1 lead teacher, 4 special ed teachers, 6 paraprofessionals, 2 speech pathologists, 1 OT, 1 PT, 1 nurse, 2 buses, and then we've allowed $2,000 for supplies. So it's $47,573 is the total projected cost. And that's really all I have about extended school year services.
So with that, we will take any questions from board members.
I just have a quick question, Dr. White. You talked about the mentors. What's going to be the role of the mentors, and who are they?
Yes, so the mentors will be the classroom teachers, and then also, if you notice in the budget, I do have allotted for a counselor. So the counselor will be playing that role as well. So the role of the counselor will be to, of course, meet with those students, to, of course, discuss academically how they're doing, to discuss mentally how they're doing, and to really just be that support system, that cheerleader, to cheer them on and to keep them engaged with summer learning.
Thank you, and great presentation. A lot of information. Great, thank you.
Ms. Williams?
I just have a comment. I think the report is very good. And I know you said you'd had questions about finances, but in that you say that we have money, Dr. McGee, and I think that I've heard Dr. Paluski say this, I think it's a phenomenal thing in that we're going to meet the needs of all students, not because, you know, this year perhaps has been a failure to all of our students. They could have done better had it not been for pandemic. So I am in agreement to everything that you all have, and in that you've explained the money situation. And I like the precept of every school now having their own situation where that teacher, if that child doesn't report, they can go out and find that child. And so that to me is a tremendous asset. We've never had it before. We should do, you know, have on-site schools. But because of the pandemic, things had to change. And because finances are available, that's why and it's not just for kids so much in need, but for any child who wants to attend. I think that's great. And thank you for clearing up the money situation, okay? And all of your reports were good. Thank you.
Thank you. And let me just comment right there. With the signing of House Bill 1151, board members, I've been putting it in the weekly board, and that is the suspending of the public rating. We have a great opportunity to improve the student learning and student achievement before we get a rating. So we don't want to waste any time. We want to use this opportunity to take this time to, as you said, Ms. Williams, to get a jump start and getting our kids back on track in learning for all of our students.
I have a question.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
I can.
Oh, yay. Okay, good. Okay, so just looking for some clarification. I took a few notes. Can sports count as a PE credit? So like if my 9th grader decides to take golf, could that be the PE credit? Do we know?
It has to be coded in a different way. We have to make sure we check with the DESE and the code. I think if they just go into an athletic period, that could count towards a PE credit. So it's just something we just need to verify from the state.
Okay. Okay. So next question is, it's going to sound bad. Why are we offering PE during the summer summer program when we struggle to fill those classes during the regular school year?
One of the things we wanted to do, we don't want to just create summer learning. We want to create both fun and be able to take and address the needs of the kids in reading and math. So we had to try to create some fun part of the summer learning. So we wanted to do that enrichment piece as well as, we're going to address those needs, but have it where they just can't, not feeling real stressed, where we can have some type of relaxation. That's why you have some of the presentation, they're going to do some mindful meditation, some of the stuff going to offer maybe golf or yoga, something that they can also kind of help balance out, but still improve the summer learning.
Okay.
And also, Ms. Wunkum, if I may, so also all the campuses will not be offering that. Whenever I link in those plans, you'll see specifically which campuses will offer that. For example, the high school will not be offering that piece, but the COE and the academy, they will. But that's just an extra incentive for freshmen, like I said, to get on that campus and to get that half credit of PE and that half credit of health, but not all campuses. And that's why I said, what I presented was general, but then you all will have access to those specific plans to see which campuses will be offering what.
Okay, good.
And also let me add this to that. This is also a way, if we do get in credit during the summer, that keeps us getting on track of credits, which we won't get deemed losing credits when they're supposed to as the 9th, 10th, and 11th and seniors. So this will help us keep them on track to graduate. Okay.
So follow up with that. Will we offer any credits that can be a concurrent credit during the summer program, or no? This is more like a credit recovery.
It's going to be, go ahead, Dr. White.
No, you go ahead.
It's going to, we won't offer it. I don't think we will offer concurrent credit during the summer because we got to work in conjunction with the universities with that. So we want to make sure we concentrate on credit recovery, but we can also look at maybe allow students to get a credit ahead, if that makes sense.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Final question. Leanne, I'm your best friend, right? Okay. Here's my question for you. Aside from Dr. McGee, of course, because he's my #1 best friend. Do we receive additional money for our special education summer program for our babies that attend?
Yes, we do. We get funding through the state, and I have to put in all those names, but they do fund that.
Okay. Okay. Just clarification. Thank you.
I just had a quick question, and the presentation was great. I appreciate that, Dr. White, but I wanted to find out if it was possible to, and I just asking for clarification on what I heard, is it possible for students that are not necessarily failing, but want to go in and get some extra credit or to try to advance up, that option is available to them also? And is it still free?
Yes, absolutely. Still free, still available. And you'll see that in their individual plans when I share those with you. Absolutely. And that's how we look at all those categories that we have that academic support. So that's where that'll kind of fall in. But then we also have those accelerated options. And so it just really depends on where they fall in terms of, do they need that intervention or do they need the acceleration? But certainly we have something for everybody.
Okay, thank you.
The only question I have is, when we did summer school last year, we talked about having some metrics to see how the students did go into summer school. And, you know, I don't know that I ever heard how that worked out last summer. Maybe it got talked about and I missed it, but can we touch on, does anyone know that? Can we touch on that tonight?
Yes, we do have the metrics. That's the data that they were talking about for those kids who will be required to attend summer learning. So they're going to look at multiple sets of data from the NWEA, because we did not test with ACT Aspire, but they also are going to look at some of the other stuff that goes with the grades and the attendance as well. So that's going to be for those students who will be required to attend. And then for the students who are not required to attend, we just want to open it up for them to also help address any learning loss that occurred during the summer as well. So I think that should help clarify, Ms. Temple. If not, what we can continue to do, we can regroup as a team and make sure that we can clarify any questions on that in criteria for the summer learning.
Now, I think not the criteria, but the last, I guess it was the summer before last, because it was pre-COVID that we did a summer school. And I don't know if we ever had an evaluation of how the kids did from the beginning of that summer school to the end, like the improvement. And I was just wondering if it kind of fell through the cracks, or I was
That's a great question. I wasn't here, but we can check and research on that for you. But for this summer learning, what we would like to do, we have talked about this, is about tracking these kids in the progress. So we would know the kids individually, especially those who are required, to see where they are, because I think that we talked about assessing them at the beginning of summer, then at the end of the summer.
And Dr. McGee, I do have that data. I did put in the July board report when I came on board. So I do have that data, and I can also link it back in the weekly board report.
So we did get it, and I have forgotten it. Okay. Well, thank you. Okay, if there's no other questions, we're ready for the 5-year technology.
Thank you, Madam President. Again, members of the board, we are excited about this this plan. This is the technology plan, and Mr. Staggers is going to come. He and his team has been working very hard to create this plan. This is going to be the technology plan, phase 1. So, Mr. Staggers, we turn it over to you.
All right, good evening, President Temple, members of the board, Dr. McGee and colleagues. This is our technology refresh plan proposal for phase 1. Purpose of this presentation is to outline our plans for jumpstarting our district's technology refresh. We're going to start in the classrooms. Over the last year, we have discovered through necessity that our teacher and student devices are in extreme need of replacement. During the COVID-19 pandemic, our district, along with the world, had to pivot to virtual, and we soon found out where our deficiencies were regarding teacher and student devices. Just to kind of reintroduce my department, the department overview, the Technology Services Department is here to provide information technology tools to the North Little Rock School District faculty, staff, and students. We are here solely to support our schools with all things technology. What we did with developing our technology plan was broke it down into 3 categories. That's school and classroom support, that's on-site and virtual. That would be your hardware, software, classroom configurations, learning management systems. And then our district management systems, that's your enterprise systems, your email and operational systems, and your infrastructure, that's your connectivity and your security. But what we're going to focus on in this particular presentation is phase one will be classroom and school support. Now for classroom and school support, what we've decided to do is work on a standardized computing equipment model, which essentially that's going to give all the classrooms the same equipment configurations. And the reason why we're doing that is for better pricing of components. You just get better pricing when you don't have a variety of different models and makes, reduced administrative overhead. You don't have to buy a lot of different a lot of different attachments for different equipment when it's all the same equipment. And then faster support from our team. Our team can faster support technology when it's standardized. And then that's also gives us, as a district, a better ability to train on standard equipment. So as you can see in this picture, what we're looking at are the micro desktops, the very small desktops that fit on the back of a monitor, and then refresh laptops. So each classroom will have 2 options instead of currently only having the 1 option. For the technology refresh plan, with the guidance and the input of our district leadership team, we developed an equitable method of refreshing the computer technology at all the schools. And it's a bit aggressive, but we're going to work to get every classroom this summer outfitted with the new configuration for micro desktop computers, a large monitor, and a laptop. Students will also get refreshed Chromebooks as well. So again, this plan and this particular Jumpstart focuses on the classroom equipment for teachers and students. Phase 2 in year 2022-23 is when we'll come back, and then we'll focus on your school offices, like your counselors, your coaches, etc. Now, throughout all of the years, we will still be refreshing student Chromebooks. They'll be rotated out at each phase of this. So since we've got Chromebooks that now go home, the damages are just going to necessitate us always having a healthy dose of the Chromebooks purchased. For phase 3, we're going to focus on our central office locations. The central office will have their computer equipment refreshed. They'll also have a micro desktop computer, a large monitor, and a refreshed laptop. That'll be in year 2023-24. And then in phase 4, year 2024-25, that's the year we're going to actually revisit the current warranty status of all this equipment that we've purchased from this first year all the way through. And we're going to do that so that we can see where we are, because the difference in this particular plan and what was once configured is that only gave most classrooms and most offices 1 option. Since we'll have 2 options, we're extending the life. So in year 4, we're going to revisit where we are warranty wise. And then in year 5, we'll do warranty replacement and refresh for classroom and teacher laptops. And this is where we'll begin again. Our projected costs at this particular point is about $2.7 million. These figures are based on current vendor quotations. I currently have in hand 2 vendor quotations. I'm waiting on a 3rd that we will be presenting to you in an upcoming meeting once we have all of the fiscal options taken care of, or excuse me, all the financial obligations and the funds we're going to pay out of lined out. We'll be presenting that on April 1st, I do believe. And this is just a rough timeline of what we just spoke about. Again, phase 1, with adequate manpower, we feel like we can get every classroom refreshed this summer. And again, that's just to be equitable. I've heard the screams of the board over the last 2 years I've been here about my school didn't have it and my school didn't have it. We're going to try to get all schools outfitted this summer. And then, of course, as I stated before, in 2022-23, we'll come back and get the school offices. 23-24, we'll get central office. 24-25, we'll reassess where we are, and then we'll begin this whole thing again, if possible. I mean, we anticipate actually that we won't have as many refresh because, again, we're giving classrooms 2 options. So this is going to extend the life of our equipment exponentially. And that's all I have. So if y'all have any questions or comments, feel free to ask them now.
I've got one question. Great plan, great presentation. I fully understand how standardizing the equipment will make your life easier going forward. Trust me.
Absolutely.
My only question is, as are we leaving ourselves financial bandwidth as we go through this, as older equipment dies before their phase comes up? So next year, somebody in central office's computer goes out. Do we have budget put aside to handle those types of scenarios? We're not sinking everything into this plan and starving ourselves of the ability to fix issues as they crop up.
Yes.
Fantastic. Go ahead, Dr. McGee.
Yes, great question, Mr. Zakreski, I'm sorry. We do have a plan. Right now, we're going to use this plan to jumpstart ESSA funding, but then we also would just have a technology budget set aside to address those needs that you're talking about. So in the event that when the ESSA funding goes away, we will have a technology funding that Mr. Staggers can go and pull from.
Correct.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Staggers, that was a wonderful presentation, and I too love this standardization. And I want to apologize to you. I'm so sorry my phone went off. I had it on silent, and when it went through the computer, I'm sorry I interfered with your presentation.
All good. We got the point across. It was all good.
Okay.
I would like to have a comment. You say you're going to have this summer for the start of the school year?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mr. Staggers.
This is awesome. I mean, really.
Well, it's going to be a very aggressive plan, but with the federal funding that's come down for public schools, we've now taken away the biggest barrier for most school districts, which is funding. So since we've got funding in place and with the blessing of the board, we can move forward, and we've got a pretty strong plan to get the entire school district's classrooms taken care of.
This is why we're presenting this tonight, Ms. Williams, because on April the 1st, we're going to come back and ask you, Mr. Staggers will get you the 3 bids in a timely manner. And we're going to ask you to come back and give us the approval to move forward so that he can begin to order all of the devices so they can be here by the time we get out of school May 28th. We want the devices here so that his staff can begin to improving and giving every teacher and setting up every teacher before it started in the fall.
Mr. Staggers, real quickly, I just want to say that was a great presentation, and I'm all for technology and making sure that our children have what they need, and also the educators. And just in visiting some classrooms, I did have a chance to see, some of the antiquated systems just kind of shutting down on teachers, and then they have to restart what they're doing. But I think it's very good, and that's really ambitious to get them all in and get started by the next of the school year, but great job on the presentation.
Thank you. And Ms. Person West, to your point, that's the reason why we developed this with 2 options. Because there again, if one device is having problems, they have a second option and the learning continues.
Well,
yeah, that's a great idea. I like that.
Mr. Staggers, one more question.
Yes, ma'am.
That question is, remember in the old day, I guess I'm asking, we'll have enough Wi-Fi. Remember, one school wouldn't be able to get on because another school was using up all the Wi-Fi. What you're telling me, everything will be in place. No more computers out and kids couldn't take the test because somebody's lines broke down. So you're really giving a complete overhaul of the technology department. That's what you're saying, to help our students. You know what I mean?
Yes, well, ma'am, this particular plan is for the devices, but we actually have a plan that y'all had already approved for the bandwidth, and we're at the final stages of that. We're about 80–90% completed, and that will be in place as well. So we'll have improved bandwidth, we'll have improved infrastructure just in terms of our servers and all of our top end equipment. And with this plan that we're speaking of tonight, we'll have improved technology in the classrooms.
Thank you. Thank you. Excellent report. Enjoying it. Moving forward. Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Mr. Staggers, not to get off point, what is our bandwidth in and out of the district right now? Are we on or how is it set up? What's that basic structure real quick?
Currently, right now, we've got a 6 gig pipe provided by the state. That's a 3 and 3. So half of it we utilize daily, and the other half is supposed to be backup. And again, that's all throttled through the state. The configuration that we chose to go with through Windstream, which is going to be our new services, will give us a 10 and 20 gig pipe. So we'll be getting triple the amount of bandwidth inside the school district and double and triple the amounts at each site. And it'll be a point-to-point connection, because currently our connections are kind of clustered together. So when one school goes out, it takes out other buildings. What we're working on right now is a point-to-point where if one school's got an issue, the rest of the school district doesn't feel it.
Okay. So like kind of like a hub and spoke setup, everybody will go back to a central location. Okay, all right, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I guess we are ready to do action items.
Yes, ma'am. We're ready to move to item 8. Action items 8.1, disposition of minutes.
Madam President,
Thank you.
I so move that we accept the action items. Excuse me for a second so I can read this. Regular board meeting February 18th and special board meeting March 4th.
Second.
Been moved and properly second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion's carried.
Thank you, Madam President, members of the board. Now we asking for item 8.2, employment of personnel. We asking for your approval.
Madam President, I so move that we accept the employment of personnel found on page 45.
Second.
Okay, moved and properly second. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion's carried.
Thank you, board members. And now we're moving to the consent agenda. Items 8.3A, which is monthly financial report. Items 8.3B, which is business office items. And item 8.3C, payment of regular bills. We're asking for approval, please.
Madam Chair, I move that we approve the consent agenda 8.3A, 8.3B, 8.3C as presented.
Second.
Okay, moved and properly second. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay. Angela, I didn't. Okay, motion's carried.
Thank you, board members. And we're asking for an approval for the public use of school facility and that was presented in our last meeting by Ms. Heather Rose Newborn. Now, we did send you an updated agreement that has some language change that was through the city. We hope that that has no bearing. If it does, we do understand, and we are prepared if the board is not prepared to vote tonight, that we can push that back to April the 1st.
Can you give me the clarifications between the two? I was trying to read and catch what the difference was. Do we know?
Yes. Good evening. Good evening, Ms. Wonkum. The difference in school board members, president, everybody, the difference is on the first one, it was the city, just blanket, the city of North Little Rock. And on this one, they wanted to specify which department. And that was per the mayor. After looking at it, he said he wanted to specify which department. And so that's why it says Parks and Recs Department now. And so that was the minor change that came from the city attorney.
Okay, thank you. That's what I needed clarification on. Thank you.
All right. Madam Chair, I'd like to move that we approve the public use of school facilities and North Little Rock JUA policy, joint use agreement policy.
Second.
I'm moving properly second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? The motion's carried.
Thank you, Madam President, members of the board. We're coming to 8.5. That's the E-rate project that Mr. Staggers and Mr. Brown presented from the previous board meeting. We're asking for an approval, please.
Madam President, I so move that we accept the 2021-2022 E-rate proposal in the North Little Rock School District rate RFP, both found on page 128 and page 135.
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you, Madam President, members of the board. We're coming to our final approval. This is the K-8 school uniform. Before we vote, we did want to bring back Mr. Stone, who's going to just talk about the dress code policy. I think that was a concern from the previous board meeting. And then after he kind of shared what that policy is, we're asking him for approval to waive the school uniform. Mr. Stone, please.
Good evening, Madam President, board members, Dr. McGee, and colleagues. Tonight, I wanted to just bring back some of the data that was shared during the board workshop. Can you acknowledge that you see my screen?
Yes, we do.
Thank you. Just wanted to kind of go over the overall data. This was the last slide that we covered, just indicating that 91% of our students that participated in the survey voted no, they did not want uniforms, and 9% voted yes. And then of our parents, you had approximately 80% of the parents indicated the same, that no, they did not want the uniforms, and 20% said yes. And just to clarify what this area here is, that's the duplicates, parent duplicates. I took out all the duplicate IP addresses, and still the percentage came out approximately 79% saying no and 21% saying yes. So tonight, what I was wanting to do for our next, trying to go over the, let me get out of here. I want to show you the link, and I believe you guys had a copy of the draft of the school dress code policy. And I wanted to give you guys an opportunity to look at that. So we sent this out to you earlier, but also wanted to get some input from you on if there's any kind of additions or anything that you saw that we needed to add before you voted on the fate of the uniform policy.
I didn't get it.
I have to say, this is the first time I'm seeing it. My link has
the
not
link's not
worked.
working.
So I would like to have this, if you don't mind, for a moment at least, so I can review it overnight. I'd like to pull some policies that we've had in the past, cross-reference. You know how I do it.
Mr. Stone, on the page that right after your graphs, it has dress code policy draft on there, but the link is not working on there. So it's blank, and we don't have that page.
I don't have that page, Mr. Stone.
You did not?
Could you do us a favor then? Since
Yes.
April 1st is when you say you want us to vote on it. Could to give us an opportunity to look at it thoroughly.
Yes. And this was the same draft that I also put in the board report last week. A draft was there, and then I'm not sure why your link was not working for your board report, but it's the same exact draft that was placed in the board report on last Friday. But we can bring that back to you, and I can have Rhonda, Ms. Colquitt, if to send you guys the copies at the permission of Dr. McGee and Dr. Paluski, to send that out to you guys so you can get a good look at that. and we can bring this back in the April board meeting if that's your choice.
Yes.
I think so.
I think that'd be good if we can table that, and if we can bring it back, board members, can we agree to maybe bring it for the special board meeting on April the 1st?
Yes.
Because we want to definitely communicate
Yes.
with parents.
Yeah.
And what I want to do,
Dr. McGee.
what I would like to do, Dr. McGee, if it's okay, if we can also, can I go ahead and amend my board report and add this again to the board report as well as have Ms. Colquitt send a copy just in case someone have trouble opening it?
Yes, that'd be perfect. If you can resend
it. I'll amend that as well.
Because it's an action item, we need a motion to table it to the next meeting. So Madam Chair, I make a motion that we table the 2021-2022 K through 8 school uniforms to the next board meeting.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and properly seconded, and all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, we'll have it at the next meeting.
Okay, thank you guys. And I will link that into the board report that you'll get this week, as well as someone will also send you a copy just in case you have an issue opening the link.
Thank you, Mr. Stone.
You're welcome.
Well, Mr. Stone?
Yes, ma'am.
I did appreciate your report from every school that you did a survey on every school to let us know the parents, and staff. And that's very good. I thought you was gonna get to it, but you didn't, but it was very good.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Appreciate that.
So, Madam President, members of the board, before we get ready to close, if you permit me, Madam President, I want to just have a couple of comments, please. So I wanted to come and take a moment to say congratulations to all of our fall and winter sports, to the student athletes who have done an outstanding job during the COVID-19 period, to all of the coaches. I don't want to go into names. I'm just going to name the sports. The varsity football, the varsity boys and basketball who just won the state championship tonight, but the varsity girls who did an outstanding job, the varsity volleyball who did an outstanding job, our girls golf that we never talk about, that we gotta give praise to. We have a golf, Mackenzie Lee. She is one of the top in the state. Our varsity golf team, the boys golf team, who did an outstanding job. Our swim team, who did a marvelous job competing in state. And we had the fewer numbers as one of the swimmers team, but we finished, I think, 6th overall, both girls and boys. Our varsity cheer, we need to take time to congratulate, who won their first state championship, the varsity cheer. And let's not forget about our girls and boys wrestling team, who did an outstanding job of competing. And lastly, I will not forget to mention our dance team, who does an outstanding job. So I wanted to come to say congratulations to our coaches, our student athletes, to our parents, and then to all of the staff that really put forth the effort, the volunteers, to make this been a very, very successful school year. Congratulations. And also on behalf of our superintendent, Dr. Paluski, I want to say thank you to him, and thank you board members for allowing me to serve, facilitate, and help co-facilitate this meeting. So thank you so much, Madam President.
Appreciate you filling in. You've done a very fine job. It's been a nice meeting tonight. If there's nothing else, I guess we need a motion to adjourn.
Madam Chair, I move that we adjourn.
Second.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Right. I can't hear you, Dot. I see you speaking.